Hey everyone, thanks for joining Webinar Wednesday. I am honored to be here with Theril Williams, the owner of Floors to Go Texas. And today we're going to talk about why Theril radically changed his business at 71 years old. And while most people might think that's crazy, I think Theril and I both know it was the right move. So anyway, thanks for being here, Theril.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So before we begin, and I want to get into the meat of this, can we start just for a second laying the groundwork, telling us your store's history, kind of how long you've been in the flooring industry? I know you've been a part of a few different buying groups. Just catch us up to speed into your backstory before we met.
Well, okay. So I've been in the business for 49 years. The short history is I've worked on the retail side. I worked in commercial part of the business for flooring, but I've also worked for two different manufacturers as factory reps and a wholesaler for a time. For about 8 years, I spent outside of the dealer business, so I kind of understood how that all worked. And then I built a business, book of business, commercial business, repeat clients, and that's how I ended up breaking away from the company and started my own retail business because I wanted. There are a lot of good retailers out there, but there are a lot of sharks out there, and I really wanted a company that people could trust, to do business with. And I, quite frankly, that's why I kind of started the business.
So what year was that? When did you open the
I'm
store?
sorry, I started in 2003 when I actually incorporated and started the business.
All right, so you
2003.
did it in 2003, which means you've been a flooring store owner for almost 20 years, but you've been in the flooring industry for how many years?
49 years.
All right. So we're just going to do rounding. You've been in the industry for 50 years. You've had a store for almost 20 years. And I'm sure you've learned a lot, made a lot of mistakes, did a lot of right things, did a lot of wrong things. If I'm not correct, you have been part of multiple buying groups and I think just left a buying group. What made you want to join one of these groups? What did you get or that you thought you were going to get and why? I'm curious your experience of joining all those different groups.
Well, in the very beginning, we joined SFA, which is part of the Shaw Flooring Line Group, and we went in there just because we thought that there were going to be some private labeling, there was going to be some special pricing, something different, and there was really very little talk about marketing at that particular point. And fast forward through that system, I joined probably in 2000, right about 2003.
Yeah.
And then in 2009, they grew to be such a large part of my showroom. I realized they were taking over 70-80% of my showroom. I turned around one day and I'm going, hey, I don't have any competition in here. And I realized my prices were getting inched up. And after going to several of their conventions, I realized they have a very captive market here. And I don't have anything to compare competition to in pricing. So I exited there and I went to another buying group, which is also private label, and they.
And that was when you joined Abbey Floors to Go.
It was Abbey. It was Abbey at that. Yes, that was Abbey, the buying group, and went there and they had private labeling available. They had some group purchase power, but in reality, the leads that we got at the very beginning were just from national advertising that they did in magazines and that sort of thing. And so the leads were very, very, very few between. I mean, we didn't even get one a month. If we got one, two a quarter, it might have been a lot. And even when we were in a Texas local group and we pumped some more money into this deal, there were about 12 dealers across Texas, and we were putting money into a local magazine, Texas Month. I say local. It was a Texas monthly magazine circulated statewide. I think two dealers got two leads in 60 days off of that. So it didn't seem like good money.
Yeah, and listen, I think these groups in Abbey have done a lot for the industry to get to the point we're at today. I think to move forward, though, it's about providing a great customer experience and generating business for the actual dealers. And I want to talk more kind of about that, but I want to, first get us to the point where we're at today. So I met you. So you were part of Abbey when we first met. It seems like you weren't the most happy with the, maybe the performance. But when we met in Dallas, we had a conversation of, there are all these retailers are saying it's the way I've always done it. I don't want to change. And you came to me and you were like, I'm your guy. I want to change. I can't stand the way I'm doing it. I can't stand the group I'm in. I want to change. I'm going all in. And at that point, you purchased, I think, our website platform, our CRM platform, recently our ERP flooring software, and then also our retail selling system. And I want to talk about why. I really want to hear from you why you did that. And at 71 years old, most people don't want to change at 40. Most people don't want to change 2 years into their business. What made you want to do that change? What was that kind of eye-opening moment for you?
Well, it actually was based on experience. I'll try to just kind of give you a nutshell of this. Myself, like other people, have tried all kinds of different marketing techniques, and from whether it's direct mail, I don't know, TV or ever. I never did any TV, but radio. I had a radio program for an entire year that was pre-recorded, and we tried to influence the Dallas-Fort Worth area. But I'd hired multiple people to enhance my website, make me a good website, and the constant deal was, you got to make my phone ring. People walk in the door, and my email blow up, and hey, gee whiz, my sales have to increase over what they were. I mean, we even had baseline sales that say, look, these are my baseline sales, and let's see what you can do to help us get above that baseline. And
Yep.
nobody could understand what you guys understand. Nobody could understand how to actually bring good content and value to us, to me as a dealer. And in spite of the fact that everybody would walk in here, and I'm in Texas, so I use this slang, every marketing guy came in here and said, I'm the fastest six gun in the West, and I can get you to the top of Google and blah, 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 and all they did was spend my money on pay-per-click. And, pay-per-click is one thing, but people have to engage in our website. And that nobody was engaging with us. And that is the reason it was very easy for me to make a decision. If I'm going to be spending money in marketing, you guys, I actually, without knowing how you're doing it, I understood your entire concept of how you were doing it. And that's probably the thing that added value to me, was knowing that you guys had a system built, and it was built on technology that nobody else has platforms like that at all, period.
Yeah, I mean, it's more than marketing. I mean, when we first talked, you were upset that the current group that you were a part of wasn't generating any marketing, and it felt like, I think you used the word dinosaurs, but you didn't just do marketing. You changed everything. I mean, you changed your platform, your technology, your CRM, your ERP system, your website, your selling system. So you did a whole change.
Well, yes, and I'd even asked these groups, hey, can we even do any online marketing through these websites? And the answer was no, not ever going to do that. You'll never be able to do any online marketing. We're never going to do any e-commerce. Let's put it that way. They say no, you can't do any e-commerce. So, that was I just saw the non-flexibility to change and move on, to keep up with the customer. Because as we know, COVID changed the way people buy. It didn't really change the way they buy. It just enhanced the way they were already buying because of being closed up. And now I was understanding that people are doing a lot more research online for flooring. And if we're not out there trying to grab that information and send them to my website or other dealers' websites, then we're going to get lost. And
it's just so interesting to me because, again, I talk to dealers in their 30s and 40s who are starting their career and they don't want to change. Most people I talk to, towards the end of their career or in their 70s, they're saying, hey, I don't want to change because it's not working. You're like, I want to change because I want to be at the forefront of everything and I want to be the future and I want to make as much money as possible. It's just most people don't have the same mindset as you. Like, where does that mindset come from? Is that just from making so many mistakes by joining all these groups before and all of it, or where does that mindset for you to want to change at
Well,
this point come from?
to me, some of the mindset is from the lack of response that I was getting on all these other avenues I was trying. And I'm not that I'm greedy and I want to, everybody wants to make money, but you want to make money to stay in business. This industry is extremely hard to stay in business. It's really very easy to get into business, but to stay here and be a reputable company is another attitude. So my
And is that
mindset,
because, just question about that, is that because margins are so tight when everyone is selling all the same products?
exactly, that's because margins are so very tight. I just learned very long time ago, working for a very good retailer, that margins, it's all about margins, and getting that set and getting that right. And every time I compromised that philosophy that I learned, it was detrimental to me, to the company. And so I ended up creeping our margins back up to where they really needed to be. And we can
Yep.
talk about that in a minute. But the mindset is that even though we had good business, I wanted more business, and I knew that if there's a possibility of any kind of economic slowdown, I can't depend on the front door. People just walking in the front door. I've got a good location on a major freeway.
Sort of good location. You're next to, we'll get into this in a second, but what are you, next to 10 other flooring stores on the same street?
Yeah, when about 3 miles here, there's like 12 dealers.
Yeah.
Those are just the legitimate dealers.
Yep,
With
exactly.
showrooms. So, the competition is fierce, but we don't, I don't worry about the competition. I worry about what I do, because I can't control what they do. I can only control what I do. And if I do things right, people are going to come back here. If I give them a good product and a good service, they're going to come back to me. That's my mindset to begin with. I don't worry about the competition. I got to worry about what I am doing, what I am thinking. And I have to think outside the norm. And
Yep.
that's really what it takes about the mindset.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. And again, I was super impressed that you were able to adapt all this new technology, but then, you also signed up for our, Flooring Stores United, our retail selling system, which changed the way your showroom operates. You now have a visualizer, you have a whole different types of consumers, you even have new people selling. When did you, so you adopted all this technology, then you got the retail selling system. I think then you dropped out of, when you saw the success you were having, you dropped out of the group you were in. When did the light bulb go off for you after you got the selling system put in place at your store? When did the light bulb go off for you that, hey, I got to go all in on this. This is actually working and this is the future?
Well, fortunately, I got here just as quick as I could. One of the regrets is I didn't join you guys a year sooner. But we got our very first rack, which was Proximity Mills, and y'all were sending us leads. They were coming in the door, they were getting emailed, and we were getting calls. And I had people. I had a guy that drove from Oklahoma. Now, those of you who are watching this, the guy drove about 200 miles in order to get here to look at a product. Now, he was on a business trip down here. Okay, I'm not saying he drove all that way just to do that. He was on a business trip, and he had been doing so much research. He knew we were a dealer, and he came in the store to see what it was all about. And I'd never had that experience before. Plus, then we began to have people come in here. They were pre-sold. Let me say that again. They were pre-sold on a product. They were pre-sold on a style and a color. And they wanted to see that. They had done all the research. And y'all have so much good, interesting information out there on these products. And whether it's, if people want to talk about specifications, they want to talk about how good it looks and colors and stuff like that, you guys do a really good job for us in that department. And people were coming in here making decisions that this is all I need. And we didn't have to show them anything else. And it's like, in the retail business, if somebody likes something, you stop selling and you take the order.
I think you told me a story of how the guy in the warehouse saw how easy it was to sell, that all of a sudden they wanted to be a salesperson. What was the story of that?
Okay, so we get this lady, and she is a walk-in, but she's a walk-in because she was driven here by this technology of marketing y'all put out here. She walks in the door, and I happened to be standing near when she walked in the door. She was greeted by Ivan, one of our retail sales associates, and she says, "Hi, my name is so and so, and I want to look at a certain product." She named the style, and she named the color in proximity. And at that time, it was still just the proximity rack that we had, and we literally had the whole showroom cleared out. We'd installed a brand new floor, and I had two of my warehouse people and some other people out there actually assembling the racks, and they're laying there on the floor. They actually hear this lady walk in, ask for the floor. Ivan goes over, and I mean, in this length of time, he pulls the sample out, and she says, "Yep, that's it. I like it. Let's do it. When can you come measure? I want to buy it. I want to buy it." And Ivan made an appointment with her probably in under 15 minutes. Literally, she was in this. I don't think she was in the store more than 15 minutes, 20 max. And my warehouse, a guy named Perry, he was helping us put the racks together. He heard the whole story, and he looks up and he says, "Well, heck, I think I can sell that stuff."
Yeah. What is your advice for two people? One person considering joining, Flooring Stores United, our retail selling system. One, and two, what is your advice for someone that is considering coming to FloorCon? And be honest, because you're an honest guy. I want to have, you don't need to sell me anything, but I want to know your honest advice, because we have people on the fence that say, "I'm not sure I want to join Flooring Stores United, and I'm not sure I want to spend $400 coming to FloorCon, or $400 coming to the boot camp." What is your advice to those people that aren't willing to radically change?
My advice is that if anybody's not willing to invest in themselves and in their company to try to find out if there's something better out there, if you knew there was something better than what you have right now, how soon would you want to know that? Well, it's kind of like if somebody's been telling you a lie your entire life, and all of a sudden you found out what the truth was, or you knew there was truth out there. How soon would you want to know that truth? Well, the answer is as soon as possible. So my thought is that they really, I call up a couple of my buddies in this flooring business, because everybody in the flooring business has been around long enough, has friends in this business. And I said, "You need to get over here. You need to get over here right away, because this is going to revitalize your business. And whether the times are good or times are bad, but especially if the times are bad, this is going to revitalize the business better than anything else." And the people who are on the fence about that, I mean, I would say once you see the program, it's very difficult to turn it down, I think.
Yeah, no, it's totally. And the funny thing is, and I'll share my screen here for a second because I think it's interesting, of the consumer experience differences. So I think is this your old website? I think this is your old website. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, I think this was your Abbey site. And I was doing some research, just looking at the experience on this site, and compared to what you guys built here, was like night and day, which I'm super impressed by. But the thing I think you're talking about is SEO, and how do we drive organic leads, people looking for flooring, fall in love with flooring, and then fall in love with you and the people at Floors to Go Texas. And I don't know if you've seen this, but this is a tool that I look at to say how much SEO is your site getting. And I know your site with us is still fairly new, but I actually pulled up your old, I know why you weren't getting leads. And I pulled up your old Abbey site. You can see here, this is a third-party tool called Ahrefs. And how long has this site been live? 10 years, 5 years? Your Abbey site?
Since 2012.
So since 2012. So it's been live for 10 years. This shows how much organic traffic you've gotten in 12 years. Sorry, this is on a month basis. You're getting 0. And you can kind of see here, back in 2016, you got a little bit, 1 or 2 clicks. but basically zero the whole time. So it's very easy to see the difference when we look in your analytics. So this is your current site, right? Floors to Go Texas. I think that's this site here, Floors to Go Texas.
Yes.
And you can see the difference from 2012, 2013, all this to all the way. Let's go to organic search here to all the way now, 383 people a month, huge spikes of people and tons. You know, you're now ranking for hundreds of organic keywords. And I think that's a thing that people talk about SEO and all this voodoo. I think you call it Kool-Aid, but that's part of the Kool-Aid that people don't realize. But if you go from literally zero traffic, zero organic traffic a month to 383, that's like massive, right? I mean, that's a huge difference. So you're seeing that. I think our industry just talks about like SEO and voodoo. You even call it Kool-Aid. I call it SEO. I just think our industry has to be more analytical and actually look at what am I getting with my current website provider? What am I getting with my current digital advertising provider? And why is my showroom set up this way versus the way it should be set up?
Well, I mean, the search engine optimization technology is one thing, but when you get them to a blog website, which they read about the products, and then it drives them to our website, and they read more about the products. They're able to do that, and they're spending more time on the website reading, and spending more times on your blogs that you guys have written and put together.
So since you've joined, so you've radically changed your business again at 71, and I want to talk about the results. So you've done all these changes, you've changed all the tech, you've changed all of the products and the selling system. Since you've adopted all of it, what has happened? Talk to us about margins, sales. I mean, at the end of the day, everyone here cares about the results. You should only care about the results, right? I mean, that's all anyone should care about.
Right. Well, so there's multiple things I like about the system, but since putting all this in place, we have a better opportunity to maintain our margin because of the network and the enforcement that you all have with the map pricing. Map pricing is a big deal out there in the industry, and most of the manufacturers do not police their map pricing. Let me say that again. They don't police their map pricing, and if they do, they'll take somebody's hand and they'll go, you can't do that, and they'll slap them 2 or 3 times. And I've heard very few of them ever pulling a line away from somebody, even after they have been warned. And so
and to be clear, if you don't stick to map or there's no exclusivity around products, you end up selling material at 30 points because that's all you can do to get the job.
Yeah. So we were real happy because we already had, let me say it this way, we already had a good margin. Can I say that margin here?
Yeah, sure. You can say whatever you want.
Yeah, so we already had a good margin of 50% margin. However, most people don't realize is that without these margins, you're not going to be able to survive in this industry. And so my competition was 10 to 20 points lower than that. And they would go out of business after a while. I mean, we have, and it's a shame because people come to me because their dealer is no longer in business. They want me to fix something. But what I'm saying is this allowed us to reinforce the margins we were at, and we were able to convey that with our retail sales associates that we don't really have to negotiate off these prices except for contractor special pricing or design special pricing, somebody who's going to do some volume with us. But that's on the retail side. And so it was, to us, it was a really win situation. Plus we downsized, and I say we downsized, we got rid of like 26 suppliers. That video that may still be on my website I need to change is the old showroom with too many displays in it. We had like,
it looked like a flea market. I've seen your showroom
in there. We had over 100 display floors in our main showroom there. Now we went down to 6, actually 4 out there. we included a fifth one with our entry hall.
Yep.
And so it made it look like we had less products to offer, but actually it made it look like we had more to offer because they were bigger aisles, they were bigger wide open areas, and we gave the theme that gets carried over psychologically of less is actually more. And we've had so many people say, "Oh, I'm so glad you don't have so many choices in here because it's overwhelming," and honestly, it is.
Yep.
And so that was a big transformation for us and our team, but our team got on board with it.
Yeah, no, and it's incredible to see the change that you guys have made. I have one more question for you, and then I know the audience has sent in a few questions. I'm going to ask you them in rapid fire. I would say the last question I would ask you is, after being in the flooring industry for that long, you get exhausted. How do you have so much energy and excitement for the future?
Well,
you can answer to that.
Yeah, I'm a little different. I try to educate my people once a week. We have a meeting once a week. We're trying to get education for the manufacturers reps. We're trying to be educated better on what the products we have here to offer. We're trying to get better educated on my gosh, moisture issues are a crazy deal here in Texas that you have to understand kind of with a scientific mind, so to speak, just so we can avoid problems in the future. So learning is something that we have to be continually doing. And as crusty as I am, or some people my age been around this long who don't embrace technology, change is happening all around us at lightning speed. And if we don't make changes to improve our business, our competition will do it.
Yeah.
And when our competition does it, then the competition is going to leave you, the dealer, behind. And you're going to be in the rearview mirror, your sales are going to be getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And I embrace the change because, look, I don't necessarily like it. People don't like change, but if you're not changing, you're probably not growing either. And
totally fair.
The people who are concerned about spending $400 or in a flight fare or whatever it is to get to Arizona. And by the way, we're taking there's going to be how many's going? 5, 6 of us going to. I'm taking
FloorCon.
To FloorCon. It's just Alice and I last time, but we're taking them because this floor. I've never been to another, and I've been to a lot of sessions over the years. I've been to the Shaw sessions, the Abbey sessions. I've been to other wholesalers and manufacturers that I work for, and I've been to their conventions before. The FloorCon is nothing like anybody has ever seen before. And I'm telling these dealers, or I'd like to tell these dealers, you don't understand the support that Broadlume FSU is giving to each and every dealer. I'm talking education for the dealer. Another reason to join the system is there's never been any other group I've been a part of that wanted to help educate the dealer to become a better dealer so we can make more money, stay in business, and buy more product next year. And which in turn would benefit the factory. But I guess the factories aren't interested in selling more goods. Well, yeah, they are too.
I'm sure they are.
But to build strong dealers who are going to be around next year is really what I would think the manufacturers would want. Because I used to work for a manufacturer, and I always wanted strong dealers. When I sold to people, I wanted my dealers to get better and better and better. So,
I think it's tough when a lot of these big mills and big groups have their hands in a lot of pockets. It's unclear of actually what they want other than profits for themselves. I think what the stance we've tried to take is we have one customer. You won't see us sell to any other customer. We have one customer, and it's the local flooring retailer. I think that's why we've been able to be so laser focused and successful. Theril, there's one other question here that someone submitted that I want to actually two rapid fire ones. What % of your business is builder versus retail?
Okay, so I probably only do about 5% of my business in builder business. I never went after the Tri-Cone builder because I just didn't feel like the margins were there in the very beginning. for me to deal with, because when I was a manufacturer's rep, I sold to those guys, and I heard all the problems they had, and they only make money when they upgrade people out in the field. They make no money. They make $0 on their base grade that goes into houses. And I knew kind of how that system worked. If you can get into those systems and get into those plans, then they're great for all the upgrades. However, we chose the retail side, and I do more negotiated work on the contract side, so I make better margins on the contract side.
Yeah.
So it's a small percentage.
Yeah. Well, listen, it makes me, after talking to you, it makes me really happy to hear not only does your team have energy, using new software, using the system, but you're selling at 50% margins now, which, everyone wins, and you have more money to pay your employees and grow the business. As we wrap up here, was there anything I didn't cover? I mean, you radically changed everything. You went all in. Things seem to be going well. But is there anything that the audience didn't get to hear that you want to make sure they hear?
Well, yeah. Do you mind if I tell them the story about Ivan?
No, please do.
Okay, so one of my sales associates made a specialized appointment. We're normally not open on the weekend. He made a special appointment in store, private appointment with a customer. They got in here and they were looking for, they really wanted hardwood, but they wanted a waterproof hardwood. And the system was still pretty new. And Ivan wasn't real sure that we had one. So he calls you up on the phone on a Saturday. And you pointed him to Neil, which Neil was a vice president of product development.
Yep.
I'm sure I got his title wrong, but Neil was responsible for it. He knows all the products backwards and forwards to go in the racks.
Yeah.
And he's in charge of getting all that together. So you gave him Neil's phone number. Neil, a VP with your company, picks up the phone on a Saturday, talks to my retail sales associate, tells them about the floor that's in a rack. He pulls it out. He shows them. He goes over everything with them. And I'll be honest with you, I just left that house yesterday. That's a sale that we made because you guys are approachable. That's the other thing I did not mention. You get in these other bank groups, nobody will give you no president, no VP is going to give you their personal cell number or their email. Let me say that again. Or their email.
Yeah.
You guys are very accessible to the dealer. You want the dealer to succeed. And I've never, ever had anybody in this industry from the manufacturer's level, buying group level, that wanted to see the dealer improve in education and operations and lift the dealer up like you guys. And so
it's funny, elevate the dealer. When we spelled out Broadlume, Broadlume, we actually spelt it because it was L standard for leverage technology, U understand the consumer, M standard for measure everything, and L and E, we always talk about elevate the dealer. And whatever we can do to elevate the dealer, that's our guiding light and our guiding principle. So I appreciate you calling that out. Well, Theril, I know I've taken 45 minutes of your time, and I know you probably have some sales to get to, but I appreciate everything you do for the industry, and I'm excited to see you at FloorCon.
Well, thank you very much, Todd, and I hope and I'd like to see some of those people there. If they're able to make it to FloorCon, tell them come up and say hi to me.
It's easy to come up and say hi to you because you'll be the tallest person there. So we'll see you there, Theril. Thank you.